Hello, hello, hello. Happy day, people. This is Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Sean and Tracy. I am Sean Johnson. I am Tracy Davis-Johnson. And our podcast is about having conversations with people 50 and over, where they're talking about their wealth, their health, and their life changes. So like, share, and subscribe. I'm so excited about this conversation we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Tracy's hair journey and how she started from relaxers to press and curl to natural and then locking. And this is a journey that it took a minute for her to get to the natural state and then locking. And oh my goodness, now she is like too fabulous for me. Okay.
Too fabulous for myself. No.
All right. So there's people out there that and I mean, I don't think it's prevalent now, but during your journey, people were really like, you're gonna lock it. That myth of how professional it looks, or it doesn't look professional, it doesn't look neat. Do you wash your hair? All of these myths, right?
Oh, please. I've had those conversations with people and they have not always been pleasant.
Right. And it's so great now to just see everyone walking around in their own beauty with their hair, no matter where they are, from the boardroom to the back room. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even into the operating room, from the boardroom to the operating room.
There you
see
go.
Afros, you see locks, you see natural hair, you see bald women. That's another topic too. That was a topic.
I like that too. I do.
Yes. So, okay. So Miss Tracy, tell us a little bit about your journey from straight hair to natural hair.
I'm going to have to say my journey goes back further than when you started doing hair, because I had mentioned previously too that sometimes my mom had my hair natural. You can go back and look at pictures where, and I think you have always said this too, that natural, when we straightened it, you know what I mean? It was still a form of being natural.
Right.
So I always wasn't into relaxers and getting my hair straight, bone straight. You know that theory. If you do that, you put the towel on your head and you were prettier than this.
Right.
That was our thought in our head growing up, but my journey, like you said, started off. I remember wanting that relaxer so bad. I want to say I was a teenager, before my mom allowed me to get a relaxer. Mm-hmm. But I wanted it so bad because I just thought it was the in thing and everybody was doing it and it just looked so pretty after it was done. And to be honest, it wasn't. And and something just came to my head, is Miss Saunders had the best press and curl in the world.
Yes, she sure did.
We didn't realize then we had a gold mine right next door. Yes, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but we still, wanted to dive into getting that relaxer because we thought that was the end thing. Mm-hmm. And when I got it, as a teenager, and then you had to maintain it, it really was a lot of work. You didn't realize how much work it was to maintain it, but it was. And what brought me, I think even before I jumped into going all natural, meaning I had the flat twist, and then going ahead and locking it, I had you started straightening it again. We got out the relaxers, and the reason I got out of the relaxers, and I don't know if you remember, I had a bald spot in my head.
Yes, I do remember.
I didn't see it. You seen it because you were doing my hair. Because honestly, I'm one of those people who I don't do my hair. Right. So this is why this works out so well for me also. But you seen it, in the back of my head. And I can't remember if it was a $50 or a quarter size. You had said that I had a bald spot. I don't remember how or what. Maybe it was stress. Maybe it was the relaxers itself or something. I'm not sure what it was. But that started my transformation of coming out of relaxers, first of all. When you found that and you treated it, you made that hair come back with the stimulation and everything that you do. And you correct me if I'm using the wrong words because I'm not a hairdresser.
You're
good. So we got it to grow back. Yep, we got it to grow back. LC, there you go. And once you got it to grow back, I just didn't want to journey back into getting those relaxers, you know. And those relaxers, you know, the more that we thought about it, the end result we thought was so pretty, but the journey was a hard one because that stuff burnt your head. We
Yes.
had scalps in our hair, you know. So we started my journey. We did the flat, and like you said, it wasn't an easy task because you had to cut it down. You had to cut some of that relaxer out of my hair. You didn't have to cut me all the way down, but it was short enough to where we had to do the flat twist. We did the flat twist, and I kept debating. I kept it natural. And I want to say I've been natural for at least, and somebody might call me on this, I want to say 30 years. I've been natural a very, very long time.
Yep.
We did the flat twist, and then we went to the what you call it, two-hand twist. Yep. And I love the locks. I absolutely love the locks. I love seeing them on men, women, children. I love them. But I just didn't know, like you said, how it would be perceived just by the people around me. You know, you working in different offices, different places, people just look at you. But I always loved the locks when I seen them. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. We played around with it. And this will be 9 years in August. This will be 9 years in. And I get so many compliments. I get so many questions on my hair all the time. Awesome. You know, so I love it. I love it.
So I remember going through the process with you and always saying, you know, you're going to love it. And if you don't, we can just straighten it back out. No problem, you know. But when it comes to locking, right? From you all, you know, before, yes, I kind of talk you into it in a way, right? Or persuade you or by giving you the pros and cons, I should say it that way, by giving you the pros and cons of having locks and the different techniques of locks and things like that. But tell us what made you choose to say yeah, and what was the process like for you outside of the salon? Because yes, I maintain your hair, so it's easier, you know, because there's still that myth that, you know, you go through an ugly stage and this, that, and other. But if you're keeping it up with a professional, you really don't go through an ugly stage.
So you say because you're the professional, though.
Right.
I'm going to debate that because I think you do go through an ugly stage. But what made me say yes was, like I said, I just like the style. I just love it. I just really think it just does something to me when I see it. I love locks. I sometimes when I see locks, you know, like you said earlier, there's that myth they're not clean, people don't wash them, whatever. And it's all up to the person. You know, I like it. I wanted to try it. And like you said, if it didn't work, we could always do something different and start over. You know what I'm saying? That ugly stage, I think you being a beautician, say there's no ugly stage because you know what to do if it is an ugly stage. But I think there is an ugly stage that you go through when you do your hair, depending on how short it is. And I don't know everybody else's journey, but I do feel like I had that little boy stage, and I've seen some of those pictures and I'm thinking, wow, how did I make it through? Because I think I look like a boy. I look like a little teenager boy, you know, and I know that I was grown, but it just, to me, was that tomboyish looking hairstyle to me. It was not long enough to put in a ponytail. It wasn't short enough to lay flat. So to me, I think there is an ugly stage, but everybody's journey is different.
Right. So how do you feel now in your 50s with your locks? And by the way, y'all, her locks are past the middle of her back. She's almost sitting on them. Anyway, I digress.
I wonder why you said it like that, though.
I digress.
I mean, why did you say that like that? Don't you love them? Like,
I do love them.
I love them.
I do
I love them.
See, but you're not washing them. You're not.
I know. That's why I have. That's why I have.
No, but I'm gonna tell you, I love doing locks. I love doing all types of locks. Right? All types except for lock extensions. I'll say that I don't like to do lock extensions, but all types of, because they are beautiful, and everybody's locks. There's no two sets of locks that are the same. No two sets at all. And so when someone comes in and they see yours, or somebody else sees, you know, another client's and they want theirs exactly like theirs, that's not possible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not possible. In my experience, it's not possible. But everybody wears it differently. Everybody feels differently about them. I had one young lady recently that it took us forever for her hair to lock because she has silky hair. It's coily, but it's silky. And it took forever for her hair to lock. So finally it locked, and she wore it for 3 years. 3 years. This year would have been 3 years. And she decided, I think I want to comb them out. I think I want my hair back, curly. So she did, and her color was spotty because she, when your hair is locked, it's matted together all the way down the hair shaft. And when you're coloring it, it doesn't always penetrate to every single hair strand. So when she combed it out, the color was, uneven. And I told her the integrity of the hair and everything changed. It's not going to be the same. Da, 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 da. So we corrected the color. She's wearing it curly now, all of that. So people think that it's not possible, but it is possible to comb them out. I wouldn't recommend that. That's just my own.
That's what I was going to say. Isn't that hard to, like, if I decided to comb this out, it would have to take a while, right? Like, it would not because it's 9 years, but because of the braids, because of the lock, itself.
Right, exactly. So, but at the same time, a person that has length like yours, to comb your hair out and the integrity of the hair, because you got to remember that is years of hair that was never combed out.
Yeah.
That was shedded, right? Because our hair sheds 100 to 200 hairs a day. So that means one follicle, your follicle, the bulb is being pushed out by another hair. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that hair is usually combed out or sheds out of your hair. But when you're locking, it's just retwisted to keep it so that it all just keeps falling into the lock. That's how come people that never had long hair, when they get locks, usually end up with very long hair. Okay, because the process of hair itself does, replace the next hair. So the next hair strand. Yes, that's what happens. That's how hair locks, quote unquote. Okay. But so tell us, when you started hitting your 50s and things like that, and you were, looking at how your hair was evolving with you. I'll say it that way. It was evolving. And then now we color it, right? So tell us what your journey's like with coloring it. Tell us what your journey's like with, different styling, the freedom that you get from it.
Well, again, I'll say I'm not a hair person, so this works well for me. So once it is colored, which it takes a toll because, like you said, I have so much hair. So you coloring it, you're doing the majority of that work. So I love the way it comes out every time you color it. My journey as far as styling, sometimes I will take out, these braids and untwist them and let it hang, which gives it another look to the hairstyle. And it's easy. Is it easy to maintain when I'm trying to style it? No, because it is a lot of hair. If one of my nieces are here, I always say to them, help me put my hair up, because I cannot sometimes do it by myself. And that's why a lot of times when I leave the salon or, we're doing what we do, I have it braided like this because it's convenient, because I work out, because it does get heavy, but it's not heavy and it's not inconvenient to the point where I want to cut it because I like it.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So how about with coloring your hair? Are you embracing the gray, or are you, you still like, no, I still don't want to let it all go gray yet?
I haven't gotten there yet. And I'm not knocking people because I've seen some beautiful gray natural hair. Do not get me wrong when I say that. And I don't know if you can even see mine. You can see mine. And I what I say, time for a color.
Right.
I just, what it is too? Not that I'm ashamed or embarrassed of the gray, because I'm not. I like the color. I do. I just like the color. I remember like years ago when I first got my hair colored, and it wasn't this, I don't remember, it wasn't this burgundy color, if that's the right color I'm using. My brother looked at me and said, "Why did you color your hair?" He didn't like it. He's like, "You should have just left it. You had natural black hair." And I think you said nobody has naturally black
Well,
hair.
we as Black people, our hair is not totally black. So Asians have more or less really black hair coming from the scalp, like naturally.
Yeah.
That, because I just say that coloring people's hair black to me is like, I don't like to color anyone's hair just black, because eventually they change their mind, and it's just a process to go through to, take them from black to blondes per se. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
that sounds drastic. That sounds drastic.
It is drastic. Right. So that's just my own opinion. I have my own little idiosyncrasies about, coloring hair and things like that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what are the things that you still, what are the questions that you still get from people that you look at them, where it's still one of those myths?
Well, people that don't understand it or don't know hair, I don't even know if that's the right terminology that I want to use. People, how do you get your hair like? Yesterday you had it curly and it was out, and today it's braided, and you get those questions still. But I'm not bothered by those questions, and the reason I'm not bothered by those questions is because they really don't know.
Right.
How would I know if I'm not walking in those shoes, or I'm not going down that road with you?
Right.
You don't know. So I do think some of these questions are very innocent. And I don't mind talking about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, your hair looks so nice. Did you get your hair done? And how long did it take you? I still get those questions.
Wow.
Wow. I still get those questions. So it's okay. It's okay, because you know what? They're noticing it. They're noticing that something has changed. They're just wondering how'd you get there? How long did, like somebody said to me the other day, how long did it take you? I said, well, it takes a couple of hours. I said, and then I have to sit underneath the dryer. So, because of the length, and because, it takes a while to dry. So yeah, I still get those questions, and I'm okay with it. Honestly, I am.
I love it. I love it because it's a conversation piece, right?
Definitely.
And when you're of a certain age, so you feel good that people even noticing that your hair is still,
that they even notice it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep. So what would you tell that person that's our age that think they're either too old for it, or they don't think it'll look right on them, or I've been wearing my relaxer for umpteen years, I don't think I could look right with my hair natural, or my hair is too nappy, that drives me nuts. We don't use the word nappy.
You see my face, right?
Right. When they say that, and it's like, oh, I don't think my hair would do whatever. What would you say to someone like that?
I would say that you have to try it. You would have to try it. You know what I mean? And it's not an end all to be all, like you said, depending on, what you're looking for. If you have the time to invest it and let it see what it does, you have to try it at the end of the day, because it's not a overnight decision. You do have to think about it. You have to think about, are you going to be able to maintain it? Are you going to be able to like the length that it's at? The different styles that you see, and these locks are very versatile, very, very versatile. Mine's aren't thin. Mine's aren't thick either, and that's another thing. People like different, as different widths, different sizes, and we've seen them all, different ways. I've seen different people that like to keep them in a bob. I've seen men longer than mine, short. It depends. So I would say you have to try it and see how you like it, or if it fits your face. If you can look in the mirror every day and say, I like this, I can work with this, but to look at somebody else's head and try to figure it out, like I just fell in love with it. Like I know people probably thought that I was crazy when I seen them, because this just was like, I want it, but I was afraid to do it. But I'm very satisfied. I'm happy that I did.
Nice.
I am.
Another question that may be a myth or not: are they heavy? And if they're heavy, what do you do about it? And yeah, if they're heavy, what do you do about it?
Honestly, they are heavy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're not. They are heavy, and sometimes and you have even talked about this. Like if they get too heavy, you could your neck will start to hurt and blase. I'm not there. That is hurting my neck. Like I can feel them when I say they're heavy. I can feel them. Like these is probably a few pounds on my head, you know. But again, I'm okay with it right now. You know, I'm okay. And if it gets heavy, and sometimes you can put it up, you know, I could take it off the back of my neck, lift it up a little bit, put it up in an updo, whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? You just rearrange it, different styles to kind of weigh it out, make it work on your head. So there's things you can do. There's lots of things that you can do with your different styles with your locks.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I think that's basically the questions that I had. So now that they're as long as they are and you style it and you know, go places, what is the most outrageous thing someone's ever said to you about your hair?
Well, I don't know if it's outrageous or again, if people just don't understand the journey, people question also, and these are grown people, how often do you wash it? Now, I don't know if I ever wanted to look at somebody and ask that question, or if people, it goes back to what you said earlier, that people think people don't wash their hair. And maybe some people don't.
Right.
But I do, you know? So I think that may be the most outrageous question is, do you wash your hair? I think that's kind of crazy now that I hear myself saying it, but I get that question, you know,
Often?
quite often from adults. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That, you know, I guess and I'm just interviewing you and not from a stylist perspective. I'm interviewing you from a podcast host perspective. But when as a hairstylist, and I get these questions, that's why a consultation is key. So for anyone that's listening that, you know, has been thinking about it, there's so many people that are natural now and loving the skin they're in and loving the hair that they have. You know, I'm so happy to see how we have really transcended, you know, the myths about it, you know, by yes, it is professional looking. This is the way my hair is, and it is professional. It is kept. You know what I mean? So I love that you talked about, you know, how you love it and things like that. So anyone out there that's thinking about going to locks, now I'm going to give you the top 3 things that you should look for when looking for a loctician. Some locticians don't necessarily have to be licensed, but you want to see if they have a website or where they can see pictures or whatever. You schedule a consultation. And in that consultation, you ask them and see how clean they are in their environment. And also, what is their maintenance? How do they maintain it? And what the fee is. So that's what, 3 things. Did I say 4? It might have been 4. But those are the top things that you want to ask when looking for a loctician. I wasn't considered a loctician until after doing the certification and things like that, right? But I am a licensed stylist. So it falls under our license. So we don't necessarily need a certification to become a loctician. So those are some of the things you want to look for if you're looking for someone that specializes in locks, specializes in natural hair, and so on and so forth, because they're going to be the ones that will maintain your hair and maintain it according to your hair and not what they do on others. That makes a difference too. Experience and also what types they do. And like I said, doing a consultation. And a consultation does not mean you're getting your hair done that day. Consultation is sitting down, they look at your hair, they evaluate, you ask them questions, they ask you questions, and then you make your appointment. So I love that there's so many out there that are doing these things, doing locks, wearing locks. And so I hope that this conversation was helpful. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to newpathwellnessgroup.com, or you can email us at 50 the podcast at gmail.com. Any questions? And you can check out our YouTube channel that's going to be coming out. It's on sky13.com and You're 50 Now What on YouTube. All righty. So I thank you. Look out for us on Spotify, Anchor, anywhere there's a podcast. Apple Podcast, I think it's called.
Yes. And you also put the link on Facebook. You put the link on Facebook.
And Instagram at newpackwellnessgroup.com and SeanDJohnson.com. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this episode. And we will look out for you guys later. Have a great day.